Welcome back to another episode of Sheroes Unlimited, and this is series 2. So for those of you who are, keeping abreast with what we're doing, you'll know that every episode we're actually featuring somebody who's not only doing it and getting out there and following their hearts and their passion, but they're giving us some great insight and some inspiration to and some tips for how we can do that as well. So my next guest, I'm really excited to have her with us, because what she doesn't realize is even though we've known each other for a long time, we haven't actually physically been next to each other. I mean, maybe a handful of times over the times that we've known each other. But from afar, I have watched her, and she has been one of my inspirations, and so I'm very honoured to have her with us today. So I'd like to introduce her to all of you. This is the beautiful Elle Crawford-Marsden. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Jaynie. I feel really honoured.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to have you here.
Yeah,
thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Elle, you're a busy girl like all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a wife.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Finally.
So you're a wife, you're a mom, you've got
a grandmother.
You're a grandmother. Okay, I'm so jealous. Now I am jealous. Stop the tape. No, seriously. But one of the things that I really would like to focus on is the fact that you decided several years ago to get out there and bite the bullet and start your own business. So what I'd like, if you wouldn't mind, just give us an overview of what drove you to do that. Why did you decide to go out and do something on your own?
Well, I come from a family who have been in business for a long time. So my grandfather started a business over 80 years ago in Adelaide. Wow. And my dad was always in business, and then my brothers. So it felt like it was sort of in the blood. So even before I started my current business, I was always doing something sort of slightly entrepreneurial. Working for someone else didn't really do it for me, unless it did to help pay the bills. But while my children were younger, it was nice to have that flexibility. And I always just felt that I wanted to leave some sort of legacy or footprint for my children to sort of think, oh, well, she did it a little bit different. It wasn't a 9-to-5, 40-year, career. She did something a little different. And so that's probably what drove me to do it.
So how did you find things in the beginning? When you made that decision that you were going to go out on your own and start your own business, what were some of the obstacles that you found, and how did you overcome those initially?
Well, I sort of fell into this business with a girlfriend and just fell in love with it. And we were lucky that we really were ahead of the curve. So initially we were blessed. We had lots of people waiting to be part of what we were doing, and it was all fairly seamless, but in retrospect, I wish I had known what I don't do now, because I would have done things much differently. Not much differently, but would have done some different things. So I think that there were some obstacles around knowledge of business, and there's lots of regulations and rules and things that you need to know when you're in business, and that's not really taught in our lives. And so there were things that you sort of learned along the way that maybe I could have learned a bit earlier. So so I probably learnt more from mistakes than I did from successes, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. So how do you make the work-life balance work?
Well, luckily I live very close to where I work, and I also have a home office, so I do quite a bit from there. I'm not as hands-on as I was on the business as in working in the business, so it's more sort of the systems behind and building the business and marketing it, and so that I can do really anywhere, although it's nice to go down and have my face there. So it's always a juggle. I had a 1-year-old when I started the business, so it's been a juggle the whole way through, but you just make it work.
And one of the exciting things that you're doing now, am I allowed to mention the league?
Yes, please do. Yeah, please do.
So one of the things that you alerted me to the fact a few months ago is that you are now heading here in the state here in South Australia, the League of Extraordinary Women.
Correct, yes. So I'm the ambassador for South Australia.
So a quick overview on that.
Well, there are so many networking organisations around. They've been around for years and years, But there was a group of women in Victoria who wanted to start something that was for women, but with a difference, so about sharing and about working together for everyone's success, so that each individual, each woman in the league would get help and support to make whatever they were doing success. And it's for women who are either in business or aspire to be in business, so there's no real sort of barriers to entry for the league. And I've just taken over at the beginning of the year, and it has taken me a little while to find my feet, I have to say, because I've never done anything like this before, but I'm loving it. And the women that I'm meeting are really just down to earth women who just want to make a difference for themselves and for their families, and go a different route to the norm. So it's exciting. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, congratulations for that.
Thank
so
you.
In closing then, the question that I always ask my Sheroes is that if you had an 8-year-old Elle in front of you right now, what tip would you give her for the future?
Well, that's probably a tough one for me, because a lot of my life has completely changed since I was 8. I would probably tell my 8-year-old self, don't take anything for granted. I would probably tell her that you are strong and resilient, and whatever comes, you will survive it, but to take every moment of happiness that you can and just take it and run with it, because you never know what's around the corner.
Fantastic tip, absolutely. And look, thank you again so much for joining us today, Elle. You are an absolute inspiration, and it's great to learn a little bit more about the league as well.
Yes.
So for everybody watching today, in particular the women, I know we've got a lot of guys in our audience, but for the women, check out the League of Extraordinary Women, because it is it's a new
sort of
association forum, isn't it? Yeah, and it's going global, so check that out. But thank you so much, Elle, for joining us today. It's been absolutely fabulous.
Thank you, Jaynie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for checking in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Sheroes Unlimited.